Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm gonna be kind of going through my collection, showing you all my eyeshadow palettes. And it's kind of like a mid-year checkup where I'm gonna be showing you how my collection looks like and what palettes I've decluttered since last time that I've filmed this collection, how my palettes from last year look like, and what new I've been able to add to my collection. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. There's gonna be quite a bit of palettes, so just strap in, get some drink, get a snack, and let me show you my entire eyeshadow palette collection. And also, in case you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows especially, and therefore I have mainly eyeshadow palettes in my collection. I'm planning on filming a singles collection as well. It's probably gonna be posted like I think in the first week of July. So if you're interested in that and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. That way you will get notified when I post a video, and I would really appreciate you subscribing. I'm kind of trying to reach 1K before the summer starts, so it would really help me a lot. Yeah, so that's kind of everything that I wanted to mention. I will pop on the screen how many palettes I currently own in my collection. And now let me just get the overhead shot set up and let me show you all of my palettes. Okay, so here all around me are my palettes, and now let me just kind of walk you through them. So I'm just gonna go through the list that I had from last year, and then I'll slowly transition into the newer palettes. And first up is the Hello Bean palette by Betty Bean and Trout Cosmetics. I would definitely not repurchase this palette anymore because I don't actually really enjoy the quality of it, but I love the packaging and the color story kind of inspires me. I have this shade in another like BYOP, sorry. So just don't mind the fact that there is nothing there. And this one was in my Pendo's eyeshadows, and this one is a Glam Shop shade because I didn't actually felt like I need the shade that was originally there. So, you know, a little bit changed. And at the end of the year, this palette had 21 uses, which means I created 21 looks using this palette, whether on its own or with other palettes. And we went from 21 to 40 uses this year. So it's currently at 40 uses. Then I have my Merry Christmas palette by Uden's Eye, and I no longer have that as like a full-on palette. I just have a couple of depotted shades. So a couple of them are in this Earth palette that doesn't contain any of the Earth shades. So I have the shade Christmas Tree here, Jingle Bell, and then this shade is actually called Just Now from the Christmas Eve palette. So a couple of them are here. Then the shade New Leaf is over here. So I frankened it there. And then there are only two more shades that I have from that palette, and that is this one, which is called this one, which is called Alright. And then the shade Gingerbread, which is here. And I'm using it as a blush. I'm using it as a blush quite a lot. So, only a couple shades left. We were at 118 uses at the beginning of the year, and now we're at 191 uses. So, I've been really focusing on these because I do want to get rid of my Merry Christmas palette. I want to use it up completely. Then the Christmas Eve palette. So, as I said, the shade Just Now is over here. So I've repressed it there. Then, sorry, wrong palette. Then a couple are here. So I have the Ice Crystal, Silvery Dream, Nowhere, and the shade Softly. It's in these two. This is the original Softly. This one is frankened with a setting powder. I have the shade Night Sky, and then Blue Star and Wonderful are franken into one pan, and that pan is in one of my BYOPs, and then I have this shade called Fielding Time over here as well. So the Christmas Eve palette, we went from 102 uses to 175 uses. So I was using it quite a lot this past 6 months. Next up, we have the Elements of Evil palette by Sugar Drizzle. So that one is over here. It's a beautiful little palette. I actually haven't used it yet this year, but it will definitely get a lot of uses because it is absolutely wonderful palette, and I do really enjoy the quality of it. So it's just a matter of time for me to actually like have a chance to play with it again. I hope it's gonna get rolled into some kind of project so that I have more some more inspired to use it. Then we have the Dear Witch of the Wildflower palette, which I bought last year, and at the end of the year it had 3 uses, and it stayed that way because again I just didn't really had the time to play with it, but I hope I will eventually. So this is a very beautiful colorful palette, and I do highly recommend this one because it has a gorgeous quality. Then I have one of my bigger palettes, and it's called Divination from the from Blend Bunny Cosmetics in collaboration with Robert Welsh. And this one had, let me actually open it for you. This is how it looks like, and this one had 5 uses when the year ended, and that was because I was currently in the process of reviewing it. And right now it has 11 uses, so I was able to use it a couple times to finish my review on it, and it is a very nice palette that I would highly recommend. So that's for Divination. Then I have the Harvest of Souls from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is absolutely beautiful palette. It ranked super high last year in my eyeshadow palette ranking, and as you can see, like, it is so beautiful, so gorgeous, the shimmers and everything, very beautiful. I wasn't able to use it this year yet, but I hope I'm gonna get a lot of opportunities to play with this one because it is such a gorgeous palette, and I do really enjoy all of these shades and I love using them, so I do have to give it a little bit more love. Then we have the Nocturnal palette, which I just saw it. Oh, this one. So this is the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Nocturnal Mini palette. I have a mini version, and this is how the mini version looks like. Let me actually maybe put it like this. So as you can see, it is such a beautiful palette, and it has a gorgeous color story and wonderful formula, so I highly recommend this one as well. I think it really has kind of everything you could want. At least for me, I do have kind of everything that I do enjoy, and it's actually very versatile. I know it kind of doesn't look like that from afar, but you can actually do a lot of really nice looks that are cohesive and that make sense. So this one is great, and I haven't used it yet, again due to just not really having the time for it. But I would definitely love to get more uses out of it this year. Then we have the Ice Maiden palette, which I can't find right now. Okay, so this is the Ice Maiden palette by Beauty Moons Cosmetics. And this one I did actually use because it was in my project 20 uses. And this one had 4 uses in the beginning of the year, and right now it has 26 uses because when I rolled it into the project of 20 uses, it already had 6 on it. So yeah, 26 right now. Obviously I've been focusing on it not only because it was my winter collection palette, so I was kind of focusing on it in the winter season, but also because it was in my project 20 uses and I did wanted to test out the formula because this was my second palette from Beauty Moons, and I'm still trying to like it's not a brand that I have tried all that much or used all that much, so obviously I want to make sure that I understand these shades and the way that they perform well. Then we have the Gospel palette also from Beauty Moons, and this one I actually used today in the look that you saw. I used one of the shades. This is like a collab with my friend Philip, and I used this shade to kind of like soften the look, but it is a beautiful rainbowy palette that I hope I will be able to get a lot of uses in the summer. But Gospel had 9 uses on it last time I filmed the video, and right now it has 10 uses. So again, I've used it a couple times. I've only used it once, but I hope I'm gonna use it way more than that. Then next up is the Cleonut Cosmetics Paleo palette, which I no longer have because it was quite neutral palette with a couple pops of like teals and blues, and even though it was absolutely wonderful, I loved playing with it. I know I was so happy last year, kind of around August or September when I was reviewing that. It is just absolutely stunning palette, but I realized that I can kind of get this elsewhere and I wasn't really reaching for it. So I decided to just find a better home for it. So it's no longer in my collection, but it was a really nice palette and there was nothing wrong with the quality. It's just a color story that I wouldn't get the amount of uses that I would love to get out of a palette. So that's why I decided to give it somewhere else. Next up, we have the Little Cosmetics Spellcraft palette, which I reviewed at the beginning of, well, I posted the review at the beginning of this year, but I was already in the process of reviewing it at the end of last year. It had 2 uses on it, and I did use it a couple times, but I think it was like 8 times, 10 times, something like that. But then I decided like a month ago to actually part ways with that palette as well, because again, it was a palette that I didn't really felt like I'm gonna get the uses that it deserves, and I kind of have palettes that are similar to that, but they can also give me a little bit more of like my kind of everyday looks, and everyday doesn't mean neutral for me. It means like colorful, bright, pastel-y or neon-y looks. So Spellcraft is no longer in my collection either. Then I have the Water palette from the Avatar The Last Airbender collection from Little. This is a wonderful little blue palette. I personally don't really reach for the brown and like neutral shades in this palette, but still it is absolutely stunning, as you can see, and this is a wonderful formula. If you want to try Little, I would definitely recommend the Avatar The Last Airbender collection because the quality of this is absolutely insane. This palette had 4 uses when I rolled it. It had 4 uses when I started this year, and now it has 6 uses, so I only used it twice, but I hope I'm gonna get more uses out of it because it is just so extremely pretty. Then we have the Earth palette, which is my current Project 20 uses palette. Again, it's from the same collection and from the same brand, and this one had 3 uses when I rolled it into when we started this year, and now it has 16 uses, so I am working on it and trying to hit my 20 uses on it, and it is beautiful. Obviously, I love greens. It's literally one of the colors that I wear the most, so this is definitely a palette that has a lot of use for me. Then we have the Air palette from the same collection. And the Air palette, I haven't used it yet this year, but it is in my summer eyeshadow palette collection, so hopefully it will get uses eventually. So this is how the Air looks like. It's a very beautiful color story. It's my favorite from all of these because I think it's the least monochromatic. And that one had 5 uses. Last one from this collection is the Fire palette, which had 6 uses, and it still has 6 uses because I haven't used it this year yet. But I think once summer ends and we're kind of slowly transition into autumn, this palette will get multiple uses from me because it just makes sense, and it's a very beautiful, beautiful palette. I like all the sparklies here. So that's the Fire one. Then we have the Moonshroom palette by Lunar Beauty, which had 11 uses. I haven't used it at all this year, and I decided to declutter it. I actually sent it away like 4 days ago, 3 days ago, I'm not completely sure, because I wouldn't really get the uses that it deserves, and I never really liked the shimmers from that palette because they creased on me a lot and they were kind of like not really nice looking on my eyes. So, you know, it's gone from my collection, and that way I can focus on palettes that I actually do really enjoy using. Then I have the Ireland palette by Nomad Cosmetics. Okay, so this is how the Ireland Wild Atlantic way looks like. It's obviously mostly like a green with a little bit of yellows, neutrals, and pops of blue type of color story, but it is very pretty. It's kind of like a spring summery palette for me, and I hope I'm gonna get a little bit of use this summer. I do want to take this to Ireland with me at some point if I ever go on vacation there. I don't know if it's gonna happen this year or next year, but I do definitely want to go to Ireland, and this would be a great palette to bring with me for just like everyday looks. This one had 13 uses and now it has 14. I only used it once in my palette bingo, but a use is a use, right? Next, we have the Fuji palette, which is this one. So this is the Fuji 5 Lakes, that's how it's called. It's absolutely stunning palette, and I love the color story. This is one of my favorite color stories from Nomad because I think it's the most innovative and just you can do the most with it, I think. So this is how Fuji looks like, and this one had 10 uses on it, and right now it has 11, so I used it once this year also for the palette bingo, but I do want to reach for it more in the autumn or like at the end of summer. Then we have the Polar Express. I was trying for the first time during Christmas, I think, because I think I've worn some of these on my birthday, and that's right after Christmas. So yeah, I think that's where I was when I was reviewing it. This one had 3 uses on it. And right now it has 9 because obviously I was in the process of reviewing it at the end of last year. So beginning of this year, I was still kind of playing with it to determine if I like the formula. And I think it's a really nice one. It's definitely the most like neutral color story that I have from them, but also I really like the blues. I think they nailed the blues. So that's for the Polar Express. So next up I have the Frogtail palette from Mio Makeup. This is how it looks like. I kind of changed up the color story a little bit. Depotted a couple of the glitters. There were 2 glitters and I changed it up a bit. As you can see, there's a pan happening in this palette as well. And the Frogtails palette had 11 uses. And now it has 33 uses, so pretty good accomplishment. And that's mostly because it was in my Pendos eyeshadows. Then we had the Pistachio Gelato by Mio Makeup. That one I no longer have because even though it was a beautiful green, everyday type of color story for me, I have so many of these in my collection, so I don't need a mini palette for that, since I already have a couple of mini palettes in that vein. So got rid of that one, and that one I only used once last year. Then I have the Liana palette by Shall We Makeup, which is my Panda palette, or one of them, and it was also one of my Pendos palettes last year. As I said, it has the one of the shades from the Merry Christmas palette, which is the shade New Leaf. I was able to hit 2 pans this year, and this palette had I think 22 uses. Now it has 31 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 31. So I did use it a couple times, but it's not my most used palette in any by any chance. And then we have the Wolfa palette, which is another small palette, and this is from Shall We Makeup as well. I haven't used this one at all. It had 12 uses and it stayed on 12 uses. It's kind of like a neutral color story with pop of red and kind of like a teal blue. I do like the idea of this color story. I just don't really reach for it a lot because I never really remember to reach for these mini palettes. But it could be like a Panda palette at some point. Then we have the Dragon Eye palette by What's Up Beauty, which is a palette that I've been trying during Christmas, like year prior. So it's been in my collection for a year and a half, and it is currently my project level up. I'm currently wearing it on my eyes, so the look that you saw in the beginning of the video was with some of these shimmers. And the Dragon Eye had 16 uses. And right now it has 26, so currently used it 10 times. It is a wonderful palette. I am definitely enjoying all the looks that I've been creating with it, and I'm very happy that I have that one. Then I have the Haggard Ecstasy of Saints, I think it's how it's called. So this is how it looks like. It's a small kind of pinky palette. And this one had 4 uses, and now it's at 6 uses. So I've used it twice, and both of those were during Valentine's. Then I have the Lovesick palette from Wicked Widow, which is another kind of like a mini pinky palette. This is how it looks like. It's a really, really beautiful little 8-pan. And Lovesick had 10 uses on it. And right now it has 12, so I was also able to use it twice this year. It's not the best amount of uses, but it's also not the worst. So I'm happy with that, and I hope I'm gonna be able to use it at least a couple more times this year. Then I have the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette, which I haven't used at all. Sorry, wrong side. Which I haven't used at all this year. But this is how it looks like. It's a beautiful kind of like a warm greens to these like teals and pinks. So it's very interesting, cool to warm color story. And this one, I had 2 uses and it stayed on that. So yeah, not really a palette that I'm reaching for, but I first tried it last year at the end and I didn't really have much time to play with it more than that, so it's not fully my fault. But I will obviously make I will obviously try to focus on it more. Then I have the Serpent palette by Mika Beauty Shop in collaboration with Marta's Makeup. It's this palette that I have been obsessed with for the past 2 summers, I believe. And the Serpent palette had 30 uses at the end of last year. And right now it still has 30 uses. So I haven't been able to use it, but I will reach for it a lot this summer. Or at least that's the plan, because I do really enjoy this for the summer season. Then we have the Delicious Delights palette from Cosmic Beauty. Which is absolutely beautiful pastel-y color story that I've used a lot this year because it was my palette crush of the month. So Delights had 33 uses. And right now it has 64 uses, so I was able to use it 31 times and I'm very happy with it. I definitely have some really nice dips going on. I think you can even see that, and even one little pan in here. So this has been very, very successful for me and I'm definitely enjoying this a lot. Then another is the Muse palette. So this is how it looks like. I've only used it a couple times this year because it was in my, one of the shades was in my Pendos eyeshadows and it was the shade Amethyst. So this one had 19 uses and now it has 23 uses. So I've only used it 4 times and it was for this shade, but some use is better than no use and I'm very happy with that. Then we have the Winter Wonderland, again from Cosmic Beauty. This is also another super beautiful palette, one of the best like cool tone palettes that has ever been created in my opinion. And the Winter Wonderland had 17 uses and now it has 20 uses. So I used it 3 times this year and I will obviously use it a lot during winter as well. So that's Winter Wonderland. Then we have the Undergrowth, which is, so this one is currently in my Protect 20 uses, but I've was only able to use it once so far this year. Again, I just have a lot of green palettes that I'm working on, but it is very, very pretty and I do love this color story a lot. So that's for Undergrowth. Then next up we have the Sinister palette, also from Cosmic Beauty, and I no longer have that one. That one had 5 uses at the end of last year and it was a really nice palette, but it was kind of like a purpley cool toned, kind of the same thing as the Spellcraft palette. And I just decided that I don't really need it because I can get kind of the same ideas mixing different palettes from my collection that I actually do reach for a lot more, and I'm more inspired to reach for as well. So yeah, I got rid of the Sinister palette, but I do have the Tis the Season palette, which was their holiday release. And this one had 4 uses And right now it has 7 uses, so I used it a couple times because I was still reviewing it at the beginning of the year. And it is a beautiful, beautiful palette that I think deserves all the hype that it gets, because this is truly a great formula. I think they stepped up both the mattes and the shimmers as well, so definitely check it out. I know it's a holiday release, but it is a really good one. Then there's the Haunted palette by Gourmand Girls. So this is how it looks like. It's one of those long ones that they created with Doodles by the Bunny. And this one I haven't used at all, so it's still at 14 uses. And I will definitely reach for it more this year because I want to. I crave this color story quite a lot, so it will get used. I just don't know when. Next up is the Spooked palette, which is like an older sister of the previous one, also designed by Doodles by the Bunny. This one is still at 20 uses as it's been last year, because I haven't used it this year yet, but I again really hope to use it. I think this one will be even more important to use because it's older, and I do want to get my uses out of it, because I don't know if it's not gonna get bad. I've never had Gourmand Girls palette for this long, and you technically only are supposed to keep it for a year, or like have it open for a year, so I should try to use it more. Then we have the Nightshade, also from the same like kind of collection, or you know, they are kind of sisters, and this one is still at 24. Still haven't used it this year, but obviously these are exactly the colors. Like, this is kind of why I decluttered the Sinister and the Spellcraft, because I technically have these purples and cool tones and like the, but it also has these kind of greens and yellows, so obviously it gets way more use from me, and it's just overall a better palette to keep. Then we have the Night Terror palette. Sorry, I had to start the lights. So the Night Terror palette by Unearthly, and as you can see, like, it doesn't really have the shades there right now because I'm kind of using a couple of the shades in my like BYOPs, and also I kind of move them around because the Unearthly shades are magnetic and they have the shade names written at the back of the pan, so you can very easily tell what shade it is. But the Night Terror had 4 uses and now it has 10 uses, so I did actually use it, and it is a beautiful purpley blue cool tone color story, but it is like a bright cool tones, which I do really enjoy. Then we have the All I Ever Wanted, also from Unearthly, and this is a all shimmer palette. It's kind of like a revamp of a palette that they already had, I believe. And again, some of these are in different palettes and used a little bit differently, but this is all kind of duochrome, multichrome palette, and this one had 11 uses and now it has 13 uses. So I used it 2 times and I'm very happy with those 2 uses because I do want to reach for it more this year. But you know, with like 67 palettes or how many I have, it's just kind of hard to use everything. Next up is the Fall Magic palette by Unearthly, and this one has been slightly changed but not too much, so I don't think it's that much of an issue. And this one had 19 uses. Sorry, this one had 15 uses and now it's at 17 uses, and it is a beautiful, beautiful palette. So that's the Spring Magic. Then I have the, sorry, that's the Fall Magic, and then I have the Spring Magic palette. Again, has been changed for a BYOP, but yeah, this is how it looks like, and I'm really happy with the color story that I created here with the remainder of the shades, because I think this looks really nice. I don't know, you can kind of decide if I'm right or wrong on that, but I think this is a really beautiful color story. I wouldn't mind buying a palette like this. So the Spring Magic had 19 uses and now it has 33 uses because it was in my spring collection. And yeah, and it's a beautiful palette. I love reaching for this one. I haven't used it in this type of setup, but I do love the original Spring Magic palette. That one is stunning. Then we have the Sorbetti palette from Glam Shop, and this one I haven't used yet this year because I just didn't have time, but I hope I'm gonna get to use it on my vacation or in another way, but I definitely want to reach for it this year. So it's still at 17 uses. Next up is the Laguna palette from Glam Shop, and this one was my Project 20 uses, so I have used it quite a bit this year. One of the shades shadowed for me, which is this one. But the Laguna was at 2 uses and now it's at 24, so I was very successful with using it, and it's a cute little 9-pan palette. Then we have the Niebeski 2020, which only had 1 use last year and now it has 2, so I did use it once, and these blues are to die for. I love all of these stones. They're just really beautiful. So that's the Niebeski. Then we have the Beauty Bay Mini Charms palette, which I saw not that long ago. Okay, so this is the Mini Charms palette. Let me actually get the little plastic thingy out. As you can see, it's quite well used. It had 7 uses on it when we started this year, and right now it has 48. And it's because it's one of my Pendos palettes, and it has been in my Pendos eyeshadows a couple times. So this is how it looks like, and as you can see, I've been really focusing on it quite a bit. Then we have the Tinkerbell palette, which is also another palette that I want to keep like working on, because it has been my that palette for last year. As you can see, I don't have 3 shades here because this shade and this shade is completely used up, and this one is currently my Pendos eyeshadows shade. But this one had 37 uses and now it has 70 uses. So again, I have been working on it thanks to various projects. Next up is the the Winnie the Pooh palette. It's called Sweet as Can Be. This one had 46 uses, now it has 51, and it has been rolled into my Project 20 uses, so I am gonna keep working on it and hopefully reach the 20 uses on it, like another 20 uses on it. Then we have the Pokemon palette, also from Colourpop. It's currently in my summer collection, like the summer palettes. So this is how it looks like. 1 shade, well, 2 shades are currently somewhere else in a BYOP, I suppose. And a couple of these shimmers are not original to this palette, but they are. So this one is currently in my summer collection, and I've used it a couple times for various shades. We started at 26 uses and now we're at 30 uses, and I am definitely gonna be reaching for it for the summer. There's such a huge chimney of palettes in front of me, by the way, like you can't see it, but it is insane. Next up from Colourpop, we have the Legend of Korra, which has been a favorite of mine, especially during last summer. And as you can see, it has a couple differences. Again, I'm using 2 shades somewhere else, and a couple of shades are kind of exchanged, especially the shimmers, because I don't really like Colourpop shimmers. So we started this year at 50 uses and now we're at 60, so I was able to use it 10 times and I'm very happy about that, and I hope I will be able to get more uses out of it. in the future. Then we have the Mighty Monster from Odin's Eye in collaboration with Annette Oberstadt, aka Annette's Makeup Corner. And this is how it looks like. It's such a gorgeous palette. I love this one. It's just, do you see the sparkle on these shimmers? It's a great color story. We started this year at 13 uses and we're currently at 17. So I did use a couple times. Then next up we have the Hella palette, also from Odin's Eye. So this is how it looks like. And this one I was actually able to hit my first pan in this palette, which is exciting and heartbreaking at the same time because I'm kind of cherishing this palette. But this one had 61 uses and now it has 65, so I was able to use it a couple times. Obviously it's an older palette, so I don't use it as often as before, but it still makes me very happy. Then we have the little Ghost palette, also from Odin's Eye in collaboration with Angelica, but this one is a newer collab from Halloween 2 years ago. I'm not completely sure, but this is how it looks like. And this one, we were at 23 and now we're at 24 uses. I've used it one time and I don't even know for what look or kind of what shade, but I did use it one time. Then we have the Trick or Treat, which I haven't used this year at all, but this is how it looks like. It's from the same collab as the little Ghost. This one is definitely a lot more Halloween-y, like autumnal color story, and I do want to reach for it, but probably it's gonna be during Halloween. And then we have the Salmon 2 palette. So this one, which is one of my Pandos palettes for this year. I've had many pans this year. I think it was like 4 or something like that. And a lot has changed for this one. We started at 79 uses and now we're at 101. So I did use it multiple times, by the way. And I'm using the shade Nebula today as my liner. So those are all the older palettes. Then I had the Gourmand Girls Bitten palette that I bought this year that I've decluttered already. Because again, like it's similar story as with the Spellcraft palette or the Sinister palette. They're kind of all, I have to stop buying these palettes when I know that I can get this color story elsewhere and I don't actually use it all that often. And I don't know if there was any other palette that I got rid of and I bought this year as well. But let me kind of show you the other palette. So I have this Linz and Blend Bunny little palette that I've bought this year and reviewed this year. And this one currently has 13 uses, so I did use it multiple times. And I also, from the same brand, I have the Beauty Below, which is this kind of like siren-y inspired palette. And this one I've used, this one I've used 10 times this year. So I've been reaching for it quite a bit, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous color story. Then next up I have the Sinful Echoes Cosmic Crypt, which I've only used 4 times this year because it's red and I don't really wear them all that often. But the shimmers here are very, very nice formula that I would recommend to you. Then I have this Diavrune Smitten palette that I've been trying and I've used it 7 times currently. And do you see how beautiful it is? Like the shimmers are genuinely so out of this world and I would highly recommend them to try. It's a great formula and I think it's gonna be another brand for me to like really obsess over now that I don't really buy from like Odin's Eye all that much. It's a great substitution. Then from Beauty Moons, I have this Wilma Finger Dew palette, which I only used twice. I just finished my review of it not that long ago, and I haven't really played with it more, which I definitely should because I have to haul it at some point. But yeah, this one. Then I have from Nomad this Route 66 palette, which I haven't talked about yet, but this one I've used 9 times. Sorry, 10 times already. It's a great kind of summery neutral palette, and I've had a great fun with it. This one was sent to me in PR, by the way. But it's not like a regular thing. I don't get PR from them on a regular basis. It was just like a one-time thing. Then I have the Nomad Chicago Speak Easy, which was actually my Project 20 Uses palette. And this one I've used 23 times this year. So pretty cool, if I can say so myself. And very beautiful formula. Very nice, like cool tone and warm tone neutrals with stunning duochromes, shimmers, and just the most beautiful formula. And then the best formula for shimmers and like duochromes, multichromes. Duochromes, multichromes is the Nomad Fairy Tale Europe palette, which this is how it looks like. It's mostly a shimmer palette with just a couple neutrals. I don't really reach for the neutrals because it's not my type of neutral color story, but the shimmers are absolutely stunning, and I've used this one 10 times now. Then from V Cosmetics, I have 2 palettes. One is this Manifestation palette, which I've used 12 times. Do you see how pretty that is? Like the sparkle and everything. I do reach for this one a bit, and I do enjoy this one a lot. Then I have this Midsummer Moons palette. This one I've used 5 times this year, and I hope it's gonna be like my main, or one of my main Halloween palettes, because the color story definitely fits that. And next up I have the ZC palette. This is the Colorful Animal 4-color eyeshadow in the version X. This one is another one of my Project 20 Uses palette, and I've used it 5 times so far this year. So that's the ZC palette. Then I have 2 from DD Signature. So the older one is the Chromebook Volume 2. This one was actually my palette crush of the month because I wanted to like really test the formula. So I've used it 34 times, and I think you can see in the mirror, like, do you see how extremely magical this palette is? So this is the Chromebook Volume 2. Then I have the Drops of Fantasy, which which I was only really able to film my initial review and then one more look. So this one I've only used 4 times so far, but I do still have a little bit of time to prepare for my monthly haul. But this one is also beautiful, and I love that I have these bright mattes there. Those are very important for me. Then I have my Fantasy Cosmetica Monk palette. Monk palette, which I have been trying during March and April, and this one I've used 5 times so far. It's a small little monochromatic palette, so obviously I don't really use it for that many occasions, but it is absolutely stunning. Then I have this Lord of the Rings palette from Glamlight, the Middle Earth palette. And this one also, I barely just filmed my review with this, so obviously it doesn't it doesn't really have that many uses, but I've used it 4 times now. And again, a really nice palette. And then I have the Salmon 2 Moonwish palette by Odin's Eye. And this one has been used 11 times so far. And I do really enjoy this color story. I think it's very beautiful. So those are all of my palettes. And if I counted correctly, it should be 67, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, it's either 66 or 67, I'm not completely sure. Which is a lot, but I'm currently working on a lot of them in my Pendos palettes, so hopefully hopefully the number will get smaller eventually. But that's everything for today. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know how you're doing with your collection and how many new palettes you've been introducing to your collection this year. Let me know down below. I would really appreciate all your comments. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It would really help me with my channel. And without further ado, I'll just say my goodbyes, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow with another video, which is gonna be my project level up update. So stay tuned for that. Bye.